Alright, in this video, I want to talk about not being part of a denomination. No, not non-denominational, but not part of any denomination. You see, uh, I've got inspired to do this video and explain myself and make my beliefs clear because of a video I was just watching from Gene Kim. I like to listen to his videos. I think he has a lot of insight. I think he's very genuine, but I don't agree with his beliefs 100%, right? And I don't agree with the independent fundamental beliefs 100%. So that's why I would not call myself an independent fundamental Baptist, right? Even though I very closely believe what they believe, right? So, to make my beliefs clear, I could not say that I was an IFB, an independent fundamental Baptist, because if somebody were to start refuting some of the beliefs of the independent fundamental church that I don't believe in, it wouldn't apply to me, right? And I'll give you a couple examples of what I mean. When I was a Seventh-day Adventist and I identified with that denomination, if somebody asked me what denomination I was part of, I would say a Seventh-day Adventist, and I would talk to them about my beliefs. The thing is that I don't even think I knew, or I know I still don't, actually know 100% of all the beliefs of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, everything that Miller taught and Ellen G. White taught, and what the church itself teaches today, right? I probably don't know 100% of what they actually teach as truth. So when I would talk to somebody, they might know some of those stuff that I don't know, but I don't actually believe in, right? Instead of actually engaging me in a conversation and talking to me about what I believe, they would start just attacking the Seventh-day Adventist Church. They'll start talking about Miller. They'll start talking about Ellen G. White and the church being part of this ecumenical movement with the Pope and whatnot. And it was kind of like, okay, but I don't really identify with them 100%. You know, I just identify with the Seventh-day Adventist because it's what I closely believe in at the time, right? But these people wouldn't engage me on my beliefs. They would engage me on the denomination that I was part of. So it was very annoying, right? And I even do this at times. I talk to Catholics, and they don't all believe the same thing. They act like they're in this unity in one of the one true church as if they're in one mind, right? But they don't all agree. So when you're talking to them and you talk to them about the Pope, there's some of them who will love the Pope, but then there's a good chunk that say that he's an anti-pope, and even say that he is an antichrist. Not the antichrist, but a antichrist, right? And they'll just dismiss a lot of things he says because they don't believe in what he says, so they don't really look at him as an authority over the church, and that they don't have to bend to his will and what he has to say, right? So if I refute stuff that the Pope is saying and doing, they don't care because it's not what they believe. And then I might talk to them about Vatican I and Vatican II, and they'll be like, I don't care, that's not what I believe, I'm a traditional Catholic, right? So a lot of times when you're talking to somebody and they claim the denomination they're part of, what ends up happening is people end up just attacking the denomination and not actually the individual they're talking to, right? And I find that annoying. So I wanted to find a denomination that I actually agree with 100%, so that if I'm talking to somebody, I know my beliefs match up with that, so I can talk to them about it, and anything they get a problem with, boom, right? Can go at them. But there's not a denomination that I agree 100% with. So if I wanted to make my beliefs clear, I couldn't tell you that by saying I am part of this or that denomination, right? And even if I did, what would end up happening is people would start attacking that denomination instead of actually engaging me in my beliefs, right? So let's say I was saying, you know what, I closely agree with the IFB, the Independent Fundamental Baptist. So I identified as that. Well, then I don't know everything about the Independent Fundamental Baptist. So there's going to be people who would come up and they'll start talking about some of the pastors that are Independent Fundamental Baptist who have fallen into sin and said some weird, wacky things. I don't care, right? Because I don't identify with that. That's not my belief. But I'm going to be associated with that the same way I would associate a Catholic with what the Pope is saying, right? And then there's some beliefs that I might not know about from the Independent Fundamental Baptist, because there's some that I know that I don't agree with. So that's why I wouldn't say that I am an Independent Fundamental Baptist. And they would take out those points and they'll start attacking those points, but I'll be like, I don't believe those. And then they would say, well, then you're not really an Independent Fundamental Baptist. And then I'll be like, okay, well, then I'm not part of any denomination. And then they'll think, oh, you're non-denominational. And they act like this is some kind of ecumenical movement. And there was a time where I would say I was non-denominational, but I didn't realize that it was a denomination, right? It's basically saying we all can come together and, we basically believe everything and nothing about all the denominations. I don't know exactly how it is, but it's its own little weird denomination, right? But I don't believe that, so I am not non-denominational. So I have to just stand on my own beliefs. And there's a lot of people like this. I've been following their videos and whatnot on YouTube and BitChute and Rumble and whatnot. And they have this same mindset about the churches are, they're not perfect. And if you want to be clear about your beliefs, you just got to be clear about them. You can't just say, oh, I'm part of this denomination. I would just say that I am a Bible-believing Christian, because that's what I am. I believe the Bible and I'm a Christian. And I guess that's kind of a weird denomination that's being set up. That's kind of just what people are calling themselves, something similar to that, because they're not part of a denomination and they're not non-denominational, because they do have basically a belief that the King James Bible is the Word of God in English, and it's inerrant, it's infallible, it's perfect, and it will guide you into all truth. And God will reveal himself to you through the Bible. And there's a lot of people have that belief, and that's what we go by, right? So I just wanted to make that video to clear that up, because of what I heard Gene Kim saying about basically you're not Christian because you're not defining your beliefs. And I guess I'll make a video defining my beliefs. I'm not quite sure where to start. I guess I would just start with the gospel and whatnot and go from there. I guess, started by saying I believe the Bible. I guess that would be the foundation, right? What I end up finding the problem is with these people who want you to say their denomination, because when I talk to Catholics, and I'll be refuting the beliefs that they will admit to, because, like I said, you can't just say, you can't just attack the Pope, Vatican I, Vatican II, and a lot of these church teachings, because not every Catholic believes those things. So you have to talk to them and learn what they actually believe, and then show them how those things are wrong, right? And then when you start to do that, a lot of these Catholics will go, well, what denomination are you, right? Because they have dirt on basically all the denominations, and I know a bit about that dirt. That's why I'm not part of any of those denominations, right? And if I were to say that I was one of these denominations, they wouldn't engage me anymore. All they would be doing would be bashing the denomination that I would associate with, right? Even if it was about parts of the denomination that I don't even agree with. Kind of like how they're Catholic, but they don't agree with the Pope, right? So if I was part of a denomination, they would do the same thing and start just bashing one of the teachers or the founder of that church, or one of these weird teachings of that church. And I might not even agree with any of that, but that's what they're just going to focus on. So in order to keep the conversations on the truth, I just say I believe the Bible. So if you want to refute me, you got to refute the Bible. And if I'm believing it because some kind of error about the Bible, because I'm twisting it or being deceived by it, misinterpreting, as they like to say, then you need to be able to show this to me, right? But they don't want to do that, because a lot of these so-called Christians don't get into the Bible, especially these Catholics, and they're not going to be able to show you how your beliefs are wrong by the Bible. So what they would rather do is go, tell me your denomination so I can take a dump on that and show you how that denomination is dog shit, and and basically waste your time. So, I just get that impression that that's what Gene Kin would do as well, right? If you were to say you're part of some denomination, I don't even know if there's one out there that matches me to a T or is matches me 100%, or just really close to it. But I'm sure there's some kind of flaw with it, and someone like Gene Kin would just tear it apart because of that one flaw. But yeah, I guess, like I said, I'll make a video later on, making my beliefs as clear as I can, starting with the foundation of the Bible. Then I'll probably go to the gospel, and then I'll add the details to that the best that I can, seeing how the Spirit guides. I guess that's how I'll go, just kind of wing it, and make it clear why I'm not part of certain denominations, right? I'll try to make it as clear as I can, and if I get some kind of commentary on it, and questions and whatnot, criticism, then I'll make a part 2 clarifying things even more. So, yeah, I guess I got this off my chest. Thanks for watching, and take care.